Hi guys, it's Jay here. Nice to see you all on the Telegram. Yeah, so we're looking at Bitcoin. I just thought I'd do a quick technical analysis of the way I kind of see it, or the options, what maybe are transpiring. Looking at the old movement, the one we were all in from probably around here, some of us earlier than others. We saw Bitcoin go up, reached a peak, corrected all the way down, pure misery, and then we've had this. Now, the way I look at this is potentially, anyway, that this is a five-wave movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The melt up is right at the end. And the last movement is huge. So, hiya Hugo. How are we doing? I'm just doing a little recording.
Yeah. How does it go up or does it go down?
Well, that's what I'm here. That's what I'm here to find out, aren't I?
What
do you think? What do you think this is going to do? What do you think this is going to do, Hugo? Is it going to go? Is that going to go up or is that going to go down?
Looks like it's going to go up.
It looks like it's going to go up. You're probably right. Yeah. I think it is.
Will we still go on with this?
Yeah, we'll still go on. We're still going on.
Probably.
I'm gonna buy more.
Maybe.
I'm gonna buy into this going up. The idea that that's gonna go up.
How do we make this go up?
We don't. It does it on its own. We decide what it's gonna do, and then we follow it. So if it goes up, we go into it, and if we think it's gonna go down, we get out of it. So it's like a ship sinking. If it's floating and going up, we like it, like the glass elevator in Willy Wonka. But if it's going down like the Titanic, we want to get off before it sinks, right? That's the trick. Okay?
Yeah.
You want to lead me to it?
Yep.
Thanks, dude. See you later. Do you want to close the door behind you? Okay?
No.
Thanks, mate. Cheers. Right, so looking at its first movement, right, this is the first wave. I'm thinking that this is effectively this first part here. And the reason why I'm saying that is because clearly this is also the cup and handle. This is kind of a cup and handle situation, right? So if you look here, there's you're bowling out, you've got your dumpling, your classic cup and handle dumpling in the bottom, which I guess is kind of that. Yeah, it's a big dumpling, but it is one. So here's bowling out, and it's going to get up to $20,000 Bitcoin. It might handle out just for a bit, and then boom, we're out. We're out. I mean, I don't think there's much doubt that Bitcoin's going to go above 20,000 this time. It really has to. This primary movement's so big. I don't believe this is a corrective movement. This is the start. That was the start, and that was the first part of that movement. Now, if you consider if you extend a Fibonacci within this and try and find out what matches up and what doesn't match up. Now, I find that these work really well. I mean, if you look here at the matchup, you've got this first movement that goes to this 883 Fibonacci line. The second one goes there, and the top is virtually perfect. Also, you've got intermediate points, say here, and some of these corrective points are also matching up. So I don't have a problem using Fibonacci stuff. I think that it works really well because effectively when things melt up, they go through an exponential and it follows this kind of sequence. Now, if you look and consider that this grey line, the 883, is the first movement. So we transpose that to this and assume that's about the bottom and that's the 883, then you go, okay, how high up do I have to go? How high up do I have to go? Now, you've got to go pretty high up. And that price there is about $80,000, right? $80,000 Bitcoin, okay? So if you imagine this second wave goes to, if you're matching up with this, we'll go to the blue. Now, just so happens, I mean, I've been stretching it about a bit, but if you find that that's the top, the grey, that matches perfectly with 20,000. Virtually. So the second wave will go up to blue, the second wave will go up to 20,000, and we will hit it, and the options are either it'll blow through and be crazy, or it'll hit it, mess about a bit, and then it'll go up, and then that'll be the melt up, all the way to 80,000. Now, what you've got to do is you've got to look at what happened last time. What happened last time? So, really, a lot of the alts went high in this period here, okay? And when Bitcoin was kind of nominal but going up and resting and doing various things, the alts were really enjoying themselves here. As soon as Bitcoin decided to do a huge melt-up move on its fifth wave, then all of the alts in terms of Bitcoin got completely wrecked. They were lucky to hold dollar. They kind of did. Now, I think we might maybe be able to do a comparison. If we do, say, ETH, BTC, sorry, ETH, BTC, Ethereum, Bitcoin. No, I don't want Binance. We'll do Bittrex, an older chart. And we can see that. We can see that Ethereum was actually at the peak in the first wave. Now, if our first wave is done and dusted, it may be that our peak is somewhere in this second nominal wave, but certainly not on the melt-up wave. It may not. It may happen, but I think it's more unlikely, because if Bitcoin is really, really, really melting up, I don't think things are going to be able to keep pace. But if it's on a nominal kind of up, I think you've got a better chance of alts really trying to take off. So if we consider that we've kind of had this first wave, and we may be ready for this second one, we could be getting some decent gains in the alts. Now, last time we got alts peaking against Bitcoin, remember? Alts peaking against Bitcoin here in June 2017. You think, well, that must have been the top price for them. Well, against USD, no, it wasn't. It was not. The USD price, so if we do another comparison, we go ETH USD. Right, we got it. Look, it was miles later. It was like start of January 2018. When Ethereum was in June, July, that was it. This was the peak. We had Ethereum at well, it doesn't tell you, but it was probably around, well, if that's going to be like over $1,000, probably only a couple of $100. So then Bitcoin kept going up. The Ethereum USD pretty much held, and then it went up here. So Bitcoin went up and it wrecked effectively. Bitcoin went up. It was lucky to keep with dollar value, and then coming to the end of the movement, only after it was done and Bitcoin was done did the USD value shoot up. I'm just going to get the FBTC chart back. There you go, see? And it went back up again. So it was when it was actually a corrective wave within the sequence of Ethereum, because it reached its peak and then it was on its correction cycle. But it was such a good bounce, you actually got a great USD value here. So the trick is going to be, if you were really going to play it smart, would be to ride the BTC to the top, sell to Bitcoin. Sell to Bitcoin at the top of here. If this wave, if this last leg of the Bitcoin hasn't been done, this green one here, which is actually the chart behind, if it hasn't happened, then you're going to have to get into it, because you're just going to get, look at how much you got wrecked in BTC when Bitcoin started to go, when it peaked and then Bitcoin started to go up. It was just wrecking all the way. It went all the way down here in terms of BTC. You had a good bounce, and that's when you got the USD. So there's only one thing you can do. Stay in alts till you get a decent peak, and then get out at whatever price you can into Bitcoin. Ride the Bitcoin melt up till the very end, and then cash out in USD. And then, or you can start shorting stuff. You could also, if there's going to be a bounce in alts, then you can get into alts if you dare to ride some USD value up with them alts. But I think that's going to be an as and when. But really, it's likely you'll get your BTC spikes early, and then Bitcoin will melt up at the end, and you won't be able to keep up. I think that's pretty much the standard, I think. Okay, so we're going to look at Dash. We're going to look at it three ways. We're going to look at Dash against BTC, USD, and we're going to look at the ETH, the Ethereum pairing as well. So let's look at Dash. Okay, so this Dash chart goes back a nice long way, and I'm looking at this, and there's lots in this. One of the main things I can see is a really, really nice. This is the BTC chart. A really nice squeeze on Dash here with a falling wedge, which in this instance I believe is bullish. It's generally considered bullish. A rising wedge obviously is not, but if a rising wedge is in extremely powerful bull sequence, then a rising wedge is bullish still. So you can't always go on it, but I think in this particular instance, because we're so close to a bottom with Dash, and these are key levels of significance as they go across. Look, because generally this level is pretty good, and it would follow that that's reached a down. It got rejected at that point. It would come, and it's not going to quite touch it again. It's going. I'm close enough. I've had enough, and it's got to the end of a triangle, and it goes, I think I'm off, and it would figure that it's probably going to go a little. At some point it's going to go. I don't know when it's going to go. It might go loads now, or it could wait a bit and go in a bit. But the way I'm looking at this chart is I'm seeing if it reaches these upper levels, there's a lot of legs. There's a lot of legs in this particular coin. You could do maybe a 9 or 10x multiplier on Bitcoin if you end up in these upper layers here. Now, I'm also looking at this sequence here where this is a previous sequence, and you're looking at first major up here in 14. It came down, corrected, you had a couple of little movements here, and then it went up again. Okay, and that was almost like an equal high, if not slightly higher, about the same. Now, that to me seems to be a bit like a heartbeat, like boom, boom. And we've had this in the larger sphere, in the sort of macro, and this is sort of micro movement. But that, to me, looks like that. This, down, 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 looks like this. Now, if you look at the fallout from this, it goes down, and then you have like this final sort of capitulation, I guess. And then you've got a bump, and then you've got like this triangle, and then ramps up. So I'm thinking that this sequence here is kind of this. Yeah, that's maybe the final capitulation. A little spike up, and then this. Then you've got a flat sort of triangle sequence, and then you start ramping up. Comes out of that, maybe, perhaps. So what I'm thinking is you probably get something fairly similar. You'll get a spike, maybe to here, come down, and then it'll ramp up to there, and then it's time to be out. Now, that would be lucky if you really did get to these upper levels, because there's more altcoins now, certainly more than there were at this spike here. And as we got into the movement in June, July, August, September, everyone and his dog started releasing a new crypto coin, which now means there's in terms of stealing Bitcoin off, value off Bitcoin, you're stealing dominance away from Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to hold on to a certain amount of dominance. It won't go all the way down, and there's only so much butter to go around. And because there's more cryptos on the block, there's going to be less ration of Bitcoin to have in the market. So it's possible that Dash may not make these stratospheric BTC highs that we got used to here, and it may be that we only reach these kind of levels. So you've got to bear that in mind. So I think that's a reason. How high we're going to go, we don't know. But all I know is there's this kind of cup and handle thing going on. You put the dumpling, the handle comes up, goes down, and then there are various options. I think it'll go higher than this point. It has to, really. It's going to be here or getting up to here. I mean, if you're lucky, it might spike to there. It might just go crazy FOMO. A few days of Dash being the king, and then down to reality. I mean, just look at the correction. So once it goes up, if it really starts ramping up and everyone's FOMOing on Dash, you know it's time to think about getting out. Yeah, get out of Dash and probably into, well, depending on what the situation is, maybe Bitcoin. I mean, this happened in March, really early on in the sequence. That's when you got your spike in the Bitcoin. Now remember, the biggest value in Dash, let's have a look, was the USD price. Highest in March? I doubt it. Dash USD. The highest USD price in Dash was in December 17. And in March, look where we were. This tiny little movement here in USD. So it would have been sensible to sell your Dash to Bitcoin at that point. Really? You know what I mean? And then ride it all the way up. And because this, whilst is huge, if you look at the Bitcoin around that time, it was very choppy. It was going up and down. And if you think you can play that volatility, great. If you think you're brave enough to be able to manage that up and down sequence, then if you get on the right side of the trade, yeah, okay, do it. But in terms of reliability, I don't know if I could at that point. You might have been better off just selling to Bitcoin high up here and then staying in Bitcoin. Now, there's another reason why I like Dash. If you look at Dash ETH, right, Dash ETH. Now look at that. Just look. Now Dash is an established coin. Okay, so this only goes back to July 17. So at some point during December 17, Dash ETH was like pretty good. In fact, Dash was worth more than ETH, almost twice as much as ETH. Okay, so you let that sink in a bit, you know what I mean? By December 17, and Ethereum was established coin then, it was still having a pretty good bull run. I think it's just the start, so the Dash was doing rather well against Ethereum at that point. And then Ethereum had its go, and Ethereum probably went up, and then Dash got utterly wrecked against Ethereum. It went from almost twice as much to half its value. And then it's just been messing about a bit, and then it's had a bit of a slide. Now, Dash ETH now is like 0.2. So the potential for Dash to gain against ETH is pretty huge. I mean, you could easily get to these levels 1 for 1. 1 for 1 on Ethereum. So this gives you options in Dash. So you think, well, actually, we're really low against Ethereum. So at some point, this is going to recover and I'll be able to get more ETH for my Dash. And we're really low on BTC. So I'll probably get more Bitcoin for my Dash. Now let's have a look at Dash USD. Still low. And the highs are dizzy. I mean, you're looking at $1,500 Dash. It's just gone $100, 15x, if it reaches similar heights. So this is why I think Dash is pretty much a winner all round. It's got a nice shape with USD. The Dash ETH chart hasn't got any shape, really, I wouldn't say. Not really. But it has to go up from here. So you're on a winner against Ethereum, I think, with Dash, unless Ethereum really just has a total ball, you know, and ends up being maybe even more powerful than Bitcoin. I mean, it could do, and then we could end up down here, and Dash really didn't deliver. But I'd say that is less likely because currently up to this point, Ethereum hasn't beat Bitcoin. And, you know, it would be unprecedented, and we can't be dealing with unprecedented. We can't really factor in things that are unprecedented. We can only factor in things that we already know. And the Dash USD is also. So these are the reasons why I think, you know, it looks good. I mean, look at this cup and handle. You've got a very typical cup and handle, cupping out. You got a dumpling there, ready. So you're going to get Dash at $200. Then it might have a little rest, and then it's going to go back up again. But it's really the first thing I would look at is the Bitcoin chart. Yeah. So if you've got this sort of thing happening, where you've got that being perhaps this, and this flatter thing being this. If this starts going up against Bitcoin, like this ramp just curving up like that, you could have Dash up here. and then you're looking at 5 or 6x on your BTC. So if you've got 1 Bitcoin in there, you've got 6. Sell it, get it in Bitcoin, because by then your Bitcoin might be ready to rock and roll all the way up to, well, possibly 80k, something like that. So that's Dash. So we're going to have a look at Litecoin as well, because I know a few of you guys are in Litecoin. And to be fair, I'm not a big fan of Litecoin. I think that the BTC chart is very messy. The USD chart is a lot tidier. And it might be the pairing in which you might want to follow it, but if you're trying to monitor your BTC value, it makes it very difficult and unpredictable. Currently, if we go back to sort of 2017, this was the bull run. So it had a couple of bumps. So there's February 18. So when everybody had sort of kind of done, there was a December pump, and then it pumped again in February. You even got a second bite when everybody was getting wrecked, and that was a sell. These are your sell levels. All this level here. If you think about how much is above, there's that green line. I've obviously put that green line in to say if you got above that with any Litecoin in terms of your BTC pairing, you want to be selling. You want to be selling at 0.015. Look how much of the chart is above. It's all below that point, right? So all of this, you're hanging around in the junk at the moment if you're holding Litecoin. If you have had your Litecoin up here, you bought it too high. You're buying it in the stratosphere where these spikes are going up. You've got these wicks coming off. When you get a wick going up, that means you're probably going down. Hence, you've got a wick going down. Look, and it went shot up. You always get the wicks in the opposite direction of the intended flow to a degree. Not always, but in general, you kind of get to spot it where it may be appropriate. And you have to remember all this section above here, there's hardly any of the chart in terms of its actual volume. It all lives down here. So anything above that on a sell, I don't think you'll be generally disappointed. So you've got to bear that in mind, and you've got to create yourself some hard and fast rules. You've got to say, right, if it gets above 0.015, I'm seriously going to fucking sell. And I'm not going to worry about it. Just sell the fucking thing out in BTC. And then at least you've got the Bitcoin, and you're not hanging around in Litecoin, waiting for the sun to rise, bleeding out and coming down to Rexville again. Don't want to be doing it. The other thing about Litecoin I don't like, though, is this. You've got a low here, and it's really low. And we're nowhere near it. We're nowhere near that low. And that suggests to me that there hasn't been a final capitulation. Litecoin needs a final capitulation. Currently, it's in a downward channel. And it's a good channel. That's the bottoms of that channel and the tops. You see how this wick here even hit that and went down. People know about this channel, and it's not even looking like it's going to break. Even if it went flat from here, it wouldn't be out of there till December. So I think in terms of Litecoin, for me, against Bitcoin, just looking at this chart, you can always be wrong. Fundamentals can change, but that doesn't look like a chart I want to buy into. And as well as that, where's this? March, that went up. When it goes up after the final capitulation. If you see Litecoin go, whoa, boom, you think, hang on, that's hitting the back wall ready to spring forward. And that's when you're thinking, fuck yeah, I'll buy a bit of that. And by which point you might have had gains in other coins, in which case you go, I'll get those gains, I'll bank them, I'm going to stick into Bitcoin, then I'm going to buy this Litecoin because it's having its final capitulation, it's probably going to shoot up. And that's the sign, this last, clear out all the suckers, get a really cheap Litecoin price against Bitty. Could be that Bitcoin goes up, you see, and wrecks everything. And then it'll go up. But that won't be until it's ready, and I don't think it is yet. You look at the Litecoin USD chart, it's a nicer chart. The only problem with it is there doesn't appear to be any distinctive waves. Literally, there's this like a rounded kind of shell shape with a few spikes in it, and then just boner. Now that went up in December 17, yeah? So this, and it only started in March, so grinding up from nigh on $3, fuck all, grinding up, and then bang, boner in December to $400. Okay, but that wasn't when Litecoin was, in December against Bitcoin. What was it doing? December, it had a good go up. You see, it popped up again there. So, but that was the grind. That was the boner. And then it actually reached its highest Bitcoin price in 12th of February 18. And then after that, it generally went down in its corrective movement. The only thing kind of going for it, I think, is this. It's got a nice dumpling in the bottom of what could potentially be a reasonable cup and handle. Ready for a greater movement here. I've got some mess here that I'll just clear up. So it's these levels here that you want to be looking at. Litecoin is on its way there, but has it got another movement? Has it got some more messing about to do? Time will tell. I think you're going to have to look, like I say, for this potentially this final capitulation movement. I mean, there's that. That does look a lot like this. Boom, 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 like that. But why this? Why this? Why all this? I mean, the low volatility of it would suggest it may be ready to do something, but it's still in this channel. And it might be ready to do something. Who knows? I really don't know, but it's certainly not a shape I'm trusting. And I won't bother comparing that to Ethereum because it doesn't really have an Ethereum pairing between Litecoin. It's not natural pairing. So that's kind of my take on Litecoin. I think if you want to sell to BTC, you're not going to get much opportunity above 0.015. If it gets up here, freaking sell it. And you might get the wick of a lifetime that goes up here, but don't beat yourself up about it. It literally lives there for a fraction of a second and then it's back in the shit again. So you can just set your sell now. Why don't you set your sell at 0.016 or 0.0158 or whatever it might be, and just leave it and wait for it to fulfill, and then as soon as it's fulfilled, you're out. Because this isn't a coin you want to be in. Litecoin is not a coin I don't think you want to be in. Bitcoin's a coin you want to be in, but really, all you want to be in is loads of cash. USD, it's king. Or gold, or whatever, something. But this is a vehicle. These altcoins are a vehicle for increasing your wealth in the real world. To hold Litecoin means nothing. Just like holding Bitcoin to a degree. I mean, you can buy some things with Bitcoin, but not a lot. These are just a vehicle for making more money. So holding this shit is no good to you, really, if it's going down. Or if it's not, it has no use case in the world, which Litecoin will never have. Anyway, that's Litecoin. I'm just looking at things like IOTA. That's a nice chart, fairly similar. It's going to cup and handle, come down a little, boom, and there's a nice intermediate level there. Really nice. That's a really nice intermediate level for IOTA. And then you've got another one here on the cup and handles kind of arrangement, and $5.50 for a sell, picking it up at 31 cents. I mean, that's 15x in USD, and you'll almost certainly, with the Internet of Things with IOTA, eventually get a price that you could literally buy it today, do nothing in crypto, and set like a $5 sell on that and go, I'll just get 15x and not even look at the charts, and I'll come back in a year and I'll have loads more money and invest literally nearly no time in it. That is a distinct possibility, and I would say that that's got a good chance of reaching equal top because it's a good coin. Just a quick look on gold, because gold's interesting. It's melting up at the moment. It's past its. I have to be on the weekly, I think, to see it. So you've got gold here on a ramp up. It's broke top. So as you know, when things break top, they're either going to come back a little and then burst or they'll just keep going and go. A bit like the Litecoin USD chart, where it just goes, and fuck you, I'm off, and that's it, gone. No second chances. It's going. Now, if you look at silver, I mean, I got in silver good, and I'm still thinking of buying more. Silver is pretty insane. So it's a very cluttered chart, I'm afraid. I've been doing a bit of technical stuff on this because I'm in it. Right, so that literally came down and it's gone vertical. Silver's vertical, and I think it's not going to stop till 35. Might have a bit of a rest and then keep on going. I mean, silver's hugely undervalued. It might have issues when it reaches certain levels, like, I don't know, maybe here. I don't know, maybe up here, $100, you know. But that's great if you got in at 17 or even 28. It's 3x. I mean, this is for grown-up investments, you know, not messing about with cryptos. But you know, silver's a great chart. That's going up. And I was listening to Francis Hunt, and he's right. Gold and silver driving this, and Bitcoin will follow. And the Bitcoin chart is just a version, another anti-fiat. It's just another one. It's just another one of the anti-fiat charts. I'll clean a chart than that, yeah. And this is quite, to me, that's bullish. Everything's loading up on the alts. It's all looking a lot happier, you know. And if you, like I said, if you consider this first one to be this, then the next one's going here, which will be this, up to the blue. And then we have a little rest, and then we go all the way up on a huge melt up to 80,000 when all the twats in the street are going, oh, that beat Bitcoin, have you bought any? And you go, yeah, I was in that ages ago. I'm actually going to think about selling now. So, you know, that's just my gut feeling on some of this. The charts aren't really, you know, they're not ready yet to really make anything concrete on, I think. I mean, if you look, you can look at Ichimoku clouds, but they've all broke out. They've just broken out of them. So don't worry about clouds. You know, everything's broken out of its cloud. So Ichimoku clouds, fuck them. They're a waste of time. You know, moving averages, they're broken out of all the big ones, most of them. So they're a waste of fucking time. You've got trend lines, yes, and you should look at some of Francis Hunt's stuff. He's really good. He talks about like volatility funnels, and you know, if you just look at stuff like this where it goes up and then it's just consolidating up again, and these roundy things, these rounds, this is typical of extremely bullish behavior where you get an up and then it just doesn't really sell off and gets bought up straight away. It doesn't even have to do a volatility funnel. It can just go, sometimes when they're really bullish, they go down and then they hook around and they just go, fuck, I'm off up. Just like here, where it just went down a little bit, fuck that, I'm off up, down a little bit, fuck, I'm off up. And then had a little bit of a rest, bit of a sell off there. But it's just going to keep on doing the same thing. It's testing, you know, it's testing this. And you can tell when something's getting a bit more bullish. You know, this is a funnel here. There's one. There, consolidation funnel. There it is. Boom. Now, it was a bit of a scary sell-off there at 12,000. But it's all bullish. Where are the downs? Where are they? There are none. That's just one little one. It's all good. It's all like... You can tell when it starts getting choppy like this, people get a bit jittery. But when it's tight, like that, you can tell. Thinner lines, you know, that's bullish, you see, that's sort of bullish. And then you start, it gets choppy and volatile, and fuck that, rounding over, not into it, but that ain't happening right now. You know, that's like a hammerhead, really. It's going to go up, it's going to keep going up. I think it's going to keep going up. There might be a small problem here about this high, you know. I think it's possible. I mean, it is a little bit of resistance. Have a look what happened last time. Had the first one, it didn't do anything. It just broke through power there. Can you see that? So that was the previous high. Nearly half tested it a couple of times, and then just went, fuck that, poof, I'm off. And then that was it was off. So I would expect something similar. It'll probably dick around here for a bit, then mess about, maybe a little bit, and then just go, poof, I've had enough. And straight through. Not even messing about with that level anymore, because that's been dealt with. With these tops here, it'll just break through, poof. And then it'll hit 20, and then that's when it'll start thinking about having a little rest. And this is when everyone shits the bed, because it goes virtually all the way down to there again. It'll go all the way down to 11, so it'll go up to here, and then people think, fucking hell, 20, and boof. And I think even the alts will take a little hit then, and you might want to be out of everything when Bitcoin reaches that level, and just give the market a rest, unless it blows through, in which case obviously alts will get wrecked a bit, and Bitcoin will start to thinking it's amazing, and it won't. It'll probably come back, because it has to create a shape. That's the thing. Really, it has to create a decent shape, or it won't really make it. That's a good shape. That is a really nice shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then everyone's like, I'm interested in this coin. That's why when it dumped here, and I remember that dump because I was in. Everyone shit themselves, and including me, because I didn't know how to chart properly at this point in my life. And then I was in alt, and I was just getting wrecked and go, it can't keep going up. It can't keep going up. Oh my god! I was feeling like puke, because I wasn't riding the big wave, and you don't want to get caught doing the same thing again. Anyway, that's my take on this. I could be totally wrong, but I don't think so, because gold's going up and silver's going up like an idiot, and like Bitcoin's an anti-fiat. It's gonna go up. Everything's gonna go up, guys. So, I think this early part, the alts will do pretty well. You want to be in them, but then as soon as Bitcoin reaches 20,000, you want to be looking at your alts. If you get a bit of consolidation at 20, you might find that that's when your alts are really bullish. But then as soon as you get that boner on Bitcoin stepping out of here, you want to be out of them alts, straight into Bitcoin. Even if you've taken a hit, even if you've lost 20% on your alt BTC value, fuck it. Just get out of the alt. Get straight into Bitcoin and ride it up, because it ain't stopping. Once it breaks out of there, once it breaks out the top, I don't think she's fucking stopping. She won't stop till she's up here somewhere, and I don't know where that is, because it hasn't done the shape yet, but preliminary would suggest potentially 80k Bitcoin. That'd be nice, right? Especially if you're holding, a decent amount, having ridden your alts up, multiplied maybe 1 Bitcoin into 4 or 5, be great. Then you'll have 5 Bitcoins, 6 Bitcoins, whatever it is you've got, and you'd be riding 4 or 5 times the amount of BTC you would have normally had, straight up to the top. Now remember, your shitcoins only happen after the event, don't they? So your shitcoins come on the back end. So if you've got bag holding any shit, which we all are, this will all happen here. Be bag holding your shit. As soon as you start getting shit mooning, as soon as you've got anywhere near your money back, even half your money back on them, you want to be out of them shit coins. And you want to be out of them not even into BTC, you want to be out of them shit coins into dollar, into cash. Because you don't want to be fucking about holding shit, getting wrecked, and then having them just go down to nothing. So you're not going to be able to work those shit coins, I think, for a while. It's going to be the big coins first, Ethereum, Dash, top 20s, That's what you want to be in. You want to be in top 20 coins. You don't want to be fucking about with shit at the moment, I don't think. Unless you've got a patient, you're playing the patient game, you're buying them at Satoshis, and you've set a buy order for a couple of hundred Satoshis, and you think you're going to get 100x off a few hundred quid. Then fine, do that. But you're going to be waiting a while. So if you want to multiply now and have a bit of a play now, I think it's the big coins, and then just keep your eye on Bitcoin. Alright guys, see ya.